Hey guys, welcome to which I hope is not a lengthy, long video about pretty much a Q&A or interview that I had you guys participate in for Shimmer Online, asking your questions and curiosities about my life, I guess, as a mama gal. So thank you again, or thank you ahead of time for anybody that has participated in this, whether it be through Instagram or through even TikTok, asking me all these questions. I really do appreciate it. I did get some really good questions. I didn't expect for you guys to actually, I guess, have an interest in my life personally when it comes to being a mama gal, especially because I'm not really I guess not as active as I would like to be in the gal community, mainly because where I live there is little to no such thing as Gyaru or a Gyaru community here. But yeah, I just wanted to say ahead of time again, thank you guys so much for asking all these questions, and I'm actually looking really forward to answering them for you. So as you guys know, this video is in collab. I can't English today. Okay, this is a collaboration video with Gyaru group Shimmer Online. They are a Gyaru blog run strictly on Instagram. I do believe they are thinking of launching a YouTube channel soon. I don't know if this video will be on their Instagram or if this will be on their YouTube by the time that I finish this. So if it is, like, comment, subscribe to their YouTube channel, and also give them a follow on Instagram. Again, their Instagram is called Shimmer Online, and it's a blog by gals for gals. It's 100% voluntary. There is one person, her name is Kira, and she is the, I guess, creator of Shimmer Online. She's actually really sweet, and if you guys haven't gotten to know her yet, I would definitely suggest you guys head on over to Shimmer, introduce yourselves. They're always looking for volunteers that want to write or participate in any type of articles that you guys might be interested in seeing. So for educational purposes, I really do think that this group can go far, and I really do truly believe in what their vision is for the gal community. So that's why I am deciding to participate in helping with writing articles and doing videos such as this. So again, thank you guys so much. Stay tuned. I'm going to be answering a few of your questions. I'll be doing the ones that I get off of Instagram first, and then we'll go to the ones off TikTok. So hang tight, guys. So before we go ahead and get started on the questions that I got from both Instagram and TikTok, I thought it would be fun, or at least informational, to take some time before I answer these questions so that you guys could kind of get to know who I am as a person, and me just introduce myself. So my name is Bunnie. That is the nickname and online alias that I have been going by since 2017. I received that name from someone very close to me, and it became my entire personality, to the point where it's now even weird, for me at least, when people who really know me in real life call me by my legal name or like some family given name. It's really weird to me. If any of you do talk to me online, or if any of you do meet me in person, I would just appreciate it if you guys called me Bunnie. That's what I answer to the most. I am 30 years old. I am a 1992 baby. I am a March Pisces, and I have 2 children. I have 2 boys. One is 8 years old, the other one is 2. And currently I'm living in Honolulu, Hawaii. I was born and raised here. I've been here my whole life. And pretty much I have been doing gal for over 10 years. Starting out before gal, I mean, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to Japanese and anime culture, or the subcultures. I'm partially mixed with Japanese blood. It's just a way that I've kind of used it to get to know more about my culture, my ethnicity, beyond just the history and things that you kind of already know about Japan. I started out in the online community through anime, manga. It was more gauged towards like J fashion, like visual K, and like Lolita fashion, and schoolgirl fashion, and all that kind of stuff. And when I first started out, I think I was in between like 4th and 6th grade, showing interest in any type of style related to Japanese subcultures. I started out with visual K, which I don't think I really did very well. I kind of confused the two with a lot of emo scene culture. As I started reading a lot of different mangas, I found out about Lolita style, and I was active in the Lolita community from, I believe, my 7th grade year, a little bit up to a year after I graduated high school. So here in Hawaii, we have a very large group that caters to Lolita fashion. So I was in the community for a very, very long time. I learned about subculture, the history of it. I went through my highs and lows of buying Lolita dresses, or what they claimed to be Lolita dresses, from eBay, all the way up to finally owning some brand that I had my eye on for a while. I was very young. Like I said, I think I got into Lolita. I mean, I was always into it, but I don't think I started practicing and participating in the community until I was about 13 or 14 years old, which was rough, but I did enjoy my experience all the way up until the very end. I was lucky to be able to go to many different meets, meet a lot of different people, see a lot of different substyles, just learn about things that I didn't really know about. And like I said, I really did enjoy my time in that community. I participated until I think about maybe a year or two after I got out of high school, maybe towards the ending of my college years. But I realized that as I was growing, and this doesn't happen for everybody, this is just something that happened for me. I realized that when I came to a certain age, especially in my early 20s, my looks began to change. Like, my physical appearance started to change, where you would see a lot more mature features, and my makeup styles would change to something a little more mature, based upon where I had worked at the time. It called for us to be very glamorous, very girly, but also kind of like high maintenance. And when I tried to balance my work life with being in the Lolita community, I came to a realization that I no longer fit that sub-style or that sub-fashion at all. It ended up, for me, like I said, this doesn't happen to everybody, it just happened to me, where I felt like I looked a little too mature to be dressing in a very pretty, feminine, but also almost innocent type of fashion. And I found myself slowly drifting farther and farther away from the Lolita community, also with my Lolita fashion, and just my overall passion that I had for that specific community, which made me very, very unhappy to know that I was slowly going through all of that. Going through the phases of no longer being Lolita, but still wanting to be involved in the J fashion community was something that I was very passionate about. It was something that I didn't want to get rid of. I didn't want to leave the J fashion community, mainly because of how it made me feel. I'm not sure if a lot of you can relate, but I'm pretty sure you guys can, where you feel like there is something that makes you feel, doesn't matter what it is, but it will make you feel like your best self. You have that confidence that you don't have doing other things, and you feel this, like, you know that you look good, and it doesn't matter what anyone says about you. When you're in this sub-style or you dress and look a certain way, you almost feel like you're untouchable, like, for yourself. And I didn't want to lose that. So in my desperate attempts to kind of keep up with J fashion, but also steering away from the Lolita fashion, I started to research more, and my research wasn't that extentful. Like, it wasn't like getting magazines and all that kind of things. I just happened to look up on Google at many different styles of Lolita and wanting to see if there was even a type of style that I could have done that made me feel pretty, made me feel, you know, more comfortable into my growing self, into my growing body, but without having to be as innocent as dressing in full head to toe Lolita fashion. And I remember coming across this one picture of, and I think it's very familiar for other people, it's a picture of two gals, and they're dressed in almost like Hime Gyaru, but instead of wearing like the Hime fashion, they're wearing like Lolita fashion. So that piqued my interest because their makeup style and their hairstyle didn't look anything like the Lolita fashion that I was into. It looked like something that I was slowly moving towards without even knowing it. So I clicked on that image, which led to a whole nother bunch of images, which, you know, down the rabbit hole, you know, maybe an hour or two later, I'm finding pictures of Gyaru. And I don't know, something just sparked in me where I looked at it and I instantly thought to myself, that's what I want to look like. That's where I want to go with my personal style. So let me do as much research as I can to see what this is and what it's all about, and see if there's a community out there for it, which is exactly what I did. And there's my long journey of gal fashion. So getting into my gal fashion era, like I said, I've been a gal for over 10 years now. I started off as a chibi gyaru, going into kogal, and then going into Onee, and doing other styles like bohemian, roku, all that kind of stuff. At the time that I had gotten into Gyaru, it kind of took over my life a little bit. I traveled a lot for school to Japan, and I remember making it a priority every time I would go shopping for as many gal items as I could. Whenever we were given like free time to go shopping here and there, I would always come back with something gal related, whether it's like egg magazines or, as my favorite magazine, Kuakuma Ageha, and just basically flipping through them over and over and just taking in all this information that I could about this amazing sub-fashion and subculture that Japan once again had to offer me. I came home, and we're lucky to have some stores here that import these magazines, so I was able to buy a couple extra copies from there. I bought a lot off of eBay. I kind of figured out how to make my own style by thrift shopping and putting everything together. I started learning how to do my makeup, and I'll admit it was rough when I first started out. My gal makeup was really rough. It's been a long journey, and honestly, this is probably the best that I've ever looked as gal. I also have, as you can see, come into my own style. My makeup isn't to the T of what certain gal make should be. My hair isn't to the T of what certain gal make should be, or hair or whatnot. I don't have the nails like everyone else. But then again, that's just me trying to incorporate gal into my lifestyle while also dealing with my own personal life and my own personal growth. So yeah, I've been in the gal community now for over 10 years. I've met some amazing people. I've learned so much. The research never stops. The learning never stops. Like I said, I've been in this community for over 10 years, and I don't even think I'm halfway to the potential that I could have if I just keep going and I keep learning and, you know, just really dedicating myself to this lifestyle and this culture and fashion. And honestly, Gyaru has awakened a confidence in me that I've never had before, ever in my life, with any sub-style or any hairstyle or any makeup style. I love how I look in gal, and gal is amazing. So being gal and being gal 10 years later, unfortunately, has, you know, had its upsides, but it's also had its downsides. Specifically for me, being here in Hawaii, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, our community for gal is almost very little to non-existent. There was a boom back for it, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, but even that, like, there was never a big enough community where we would be able to host meets, meet other gals other than, you know, going to an anime convention and you happen to see them walking around, or, you know, randomly going to the mall and you see one person in 6 months each time that, you know, somewhat looks gal. So the gal journey here has been a very lonely one, especially now when it comes to being a mama gal. I do have a friend that was into gal that is also a mom, but unfortunately she is no longer into gal. So when it comes into that part of the community, I'm kind of alone out here. But I don't really like to think of it like that. You know, gal mama isn't really like this big deal that everybody makes it out to be. It's really just you're a mom, you're a parent, and you're just doing gal. So I understand that, you know, as life changes, people get older, their priorities change, and just their lifestyle changes, and some people stay and some people grow out of the fashion. That's not a bad thing. I'm still friends with her till this day, so there hasn't been any negative side effects on our friendship for that. She still supports me in what I do, and I still support her in what she does. So there was never really a loss of that to begin with. But as far as the community here, where I live, like I said, I live in Hawaii, it is pretty much non-existent. So a lot of my interactions with a lot of other people in the gal community does come from being online, which does make it hard. I mean, I do enjoy it, and I enjoy talking to every single one of you. It's just really sad and really hard, like, that I can't go to meets. I can't exactly just, you know, take a plane ticket and just, you know, fly over and meet, you know, half of you, or, you know, see you in real life other than through video calls or lives on Instagrams. But I make do with what I have, and I feel like it's good enough for me right now. So yeah, I'm still very much in love with the gal community. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. There's so much more that I want to do, and there's so much more that I have yet to try that I just can't give up at this point. It's a part of who I am, and if it makes me feel like the best that I've ever felt, I don't think there's anything right now that can stop me from wanting to be a part of this really good community. Okay, so that's enough about me. You guys pretty much know who I am. Little history on how I got into gal, and pretty much what it's like to be in Hawaii as a gal mama. So on to the next part. We're gonna go ahead and start answering some questions that you guys asked me. I'm gonna be doing some questions from both TikTok and Instagram. Like I said, you guys sent me some really good questions. So if you haven't already, grab a snack, grab a drink. This might be a little bit lengthy because I feel like my intro was really long, but if you're still here, thanks for sticking around, and let's go ahead and answer some questions. Okay, so first question I got was, what's your favorite thing about being a gal mama? So my favorite thing, I guess, is it's really simple. It's just being able to be a mom and grow in my own lifestyle and grow in my own personal journey, but still be able to not lose myself, I guess, with that growing, you know, maturity and that lifestyle change of being a mom. With being gal, it's made me feel like I haven't lost myself to being just a mom. That's a common thing that moms get asked is, you know, what is your favorite thing that you like to do, you know, now that you're a mom? And it always centers around things like, you know, like, oh, I like doing things with my kids. I like taking my kids to school. I like going with my kids to the beach, going with my kids to the park. And when people ask you that, they don't really want to know, like, what you like to do with your kids. It's more of, what do you like to do? What is your hobbies? So I guess the best thing for me about being a mama gal is, you know, still being able to be my authentic self and still being able to participate in the things that I like and the things that make me happy. And like I said, when you're a mom, you struggle with a lot of self-confidence issues, you know, with your body changing and your appearance changing. And with Gal still being a big part of my life as a mom, and like I said, Gal gives me this big boost of confidence that I feel like I've never had. It makes me feel good as a person, like, to look like this and still be a mom. I don't know, like, it might not make sense to you guys, but to me it's like, I feel like I haven't fallen off a train. Like, you know, I can still get up in the morning when I feel like it, do my hair, do my makeup, get a little bit of that me time in there, but at the same time, still enjoy being Gal with my kids. I think that's the best thing about being a mom, with having my kids and still having the opportunity to be Gal and not feeling like I've lost myself in this journey to becoming a parent. Okay, so next question. Have you ever felt like you need to stop being Gal because being a mom is a full-time job? So, okay, that question will probably be a really lengthy answer, but believe it or not, yes. Sometimes I did feel like I needed to stop being Gal because of my responsibilities with raising my children. Especially, you know, not just raising your kids, but going through Gal and being pregnant at the same time. It's honestly really hard to balance. I will admit there are times where I've taken a break from Gal, but it's never been a really long, like, years break. It's been maybe a month break, maybe a month or two or so, but it's mainly just because, you know, I'm only human. I get tired as well. There's just days where I don't feel like, you know, especially when I know that I have a lot of things to do with my kids, I don't feel like waking up and putting my makeup on, doing my hair and getting all dressed up, you know, if I need to focus on getting them ready for the day and doing what I need to with them. There have been times where I get very sleep deprived and I value my sleep more than anything else, so I will cut out the time that it takes to do my hair, my makeup, my, you know, get my outfit together, and I'll rather sleep in. There have been days where I don't dress in Gal and I don't look Gal at all, mainly because sometimes it does just get in the way. However, you know, as much as I wanted to stop doing it because I felt like my kids needed a little more attention than I did, there's nothing that beats when I do wake up and I do put the effort into being Gal and my oldest sees me and the response is just, "Mom, you're so pretty. Mom, I like your hair today. Mom, your makeup looks really good." And I don't know, there's just something about it where it makes me feel really good as a mom that my children think that I look really good as well. And it kind of gives me that little boost of confidence that I don't want to stop being Gal because of them. And sometimes they do actually both enjoy watching me go, especially go like shopping, like when I shop for myself. Like I'm wearing a donkey shirt right now and it's just a shirt, but my son looked at me and was like, "That's a really cute shirt, Mom. It looks really good." So it kind of puts a kickback in my step to keep going, and I don't really feel like I've had to sacrifice it as much as I thought I had. So yeah, yes and no, I guess. Okay, next question. Do you plan to ever dress your child in Gyaru? Or would you ever dress your kids in Gyaru or Gyaru hair? Personally, no. I don't think that I would make my kids do anything that they didn't want to do. If they showed maybe an interest in it when they're older, you know, if they wanted to do it on their own, then yeah, I would teach them and, you know, obviously buy them things that were necessary for them to get into the sub-style or the subculture. But as of right now, they are free to choose their own style. It's also really hard to incorporate Gyaru and Gyaru style to my kids because they're at such a young age where they go to school and there's a lot of rules with uniforms and, you know, what they're allowed to look like as far as like hairstyles. So unfortunately my oldest has like a straight buzz cut and my youngest, he's only 2, but I plan to send him to the same school, which at some point he's gonna have to cut all his hair off too, even though I really don't want to. If they showed interest, like they wanted to do it on the weekends when they're able to, again, only if they showed interest, then yeah, I would do anything to help them achieve those looks. But I kind of don't have a real opinion on it because personally I feel like they're too young. Would I be excited in the future if they wanted to do it? Yeah, because then I wouldn't be the only one doing it. But if they chose to go a different route and choose a completely different style that's not even related to Japanese fashion, I'm not going to be upset and I'm not going to judge them for it. My big thing is I'm very big on self-expression, so I also don't want to force them to feel like they need to dress in a style that doesn't fit their personal growth at the same time. So unfortunately, unless they want to do it themselves, I'm probably not going to force them to do anything that they want to do. And I feel right now I don't have to do that. The way that I dress them is nice to begin with. It fits more into the hype beast style of clothing, which can relate to Gyaru, but I kind of like how they look now, and like I said, I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. Has anyone called you selfish or superficial for being gal as a mom, and how do you handle that? Short answer, yes. I've been called selfish, never superficial, but I've been told that I should be using my money for my kids more than myself. Don't get me wrong though, my kids always come first. They will always be taken care of before anything else. And I do like shopping methods where it might seem like I have a lot, but I don't necessarily pay a lot for the things that I have to be gal. Whereas like, for example, my kids, you know, if I had to choose between, you know, the obvious question of paying for school tuition versus buying me like a handbag because I think it's gal, I'm always going to make sure that my kids' tuition is paid first, and I'll just wait until I have enough money on the side to buy my handbag. It'll be there when I want it, and if it's not there, then it wasn't meant to be. But I do get called like selfish in a sense where it's like for the little things. So like, for example, I'll go thrift shopping and I'll buy a bunch of stuff for me and gal, and then sometimes I won't buy anything for my kids, but in reality, like, my kids already have everything that they need. I am very on top of when they need things as far as like clothing, school supplies, personal hygiene care, anything like that. They will always come first. And I think people just don't see that. I think people choose to see that I'm only spending money on myself. They don't choose to see when I spend money on my kids. It's hard to handle sometimes because I know what I'm doing, and I know that my kids will never suffer for the sake of me being a gal. But the more that I hear it, the more it just comes in one ear and goes out the other. They don't know my life. They don't know what really goes on behind the scenes. So, and it normally comes from people that like aren't really parents themselves, that don't understand that you can balance being a gal and being a mom at the same time. If I hear it enough times, it does bother me, but not as bad as it used to. So I think I'm doing a lot better with that. But yeah, I do get called selfish. I never get called superficial. But at the end of the day, my kids are taken care of, and that's all that really should matter, regardless of if I choose to do gal or if I choose to not do gal. How do you balance gal life and mom? There really is no math or science to it. If you want to be gal and still have to do your responsibilities as a mom, you kind of just do it. You're not expected to be in gal every single day, every minute of every day. There are times where I don't dress in gal. I think even prior to filming this video, it's been almost a week since I've done anything gal related, whether that's hair or makeup. I do still dress gal though, but I know that's not really considered gal because you can't differentiate it with like the no make and all that kind of stuff. But I still dress in gal every day. My entire wardrobe is based around my gal aesthetic. So no matter what, even if I'm not in gal, I still dress it. I still play the part, I guess, but it's just something that you have to do. On the days that I do feel like being gal, knowing that I have to do things with my kids, I will usually set an alarm on my phone where I'll wake up around maybe like an hour or 2 hours earlier than everyone else in the house. I will take that time to get myself ready, and then when I'm fully ready, that's when I go and start waking up my family, getting them ready for the day that we have ahead. I'm also very lucky that my partner also does help me when it comes to getting the kids ready. Like if I'm in gal make and I don't want to mess up the look, like I'll just give him like, here's the clothes for the kids, change them for me, I'll get the bag ready, and he does it. When it comes to me being out in gal, sometimes I have the benefit of just kind of focusing on upkeeping my look, powdering my face, wiping my face, all that kind of stuff, whereas he will take care of the kids, but I'm still there for, you know, certain things like feeding them, taking them to the bathroom, things like that. But it's not a math or a science to it. It's just, there's days where I feel like it, and then there's days where I don't. I don't think that that makes me any more or less of a gal. It's just, there's a lot that goes into having daily lives with children, especially having multiple children, young children. It takes up a lot of your time. Sometimes I'll even dress in gal when they're sleeping, and I'll film like TikToks and stuff like that while they're sleeping. And those are just the little things that I do that make me feel like my day isn't wasted, or that I did or didn't do gal that day, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So it's, yeah, you kind of just do it if you feel like doing it. There's no real math or science to it. Has having kids caused you to change your style in any way? And the answer is yes. So when I first started out doing Gyaru, I was like a lot of people, where the first sub-style that I came across was Mamba, Yamamba, and Kigurumi. So those were the very, you know, heavier styles, more eccentric styles, and I was really into them when I was younger, and I participated in that side of the community for a little bit. As I matured, and I think my style has just changed in general, it hasn't had really much to do with, you know, having children. It's just my personal style has changed. When I got into college, I got used to having to look a little more professional, and I couldn't have as much fun as I used to with the heavier styles. And if I did, it was only for, you know, Halloween or anime conventions and stuff like that. But I mean, I still enjoyed it. As I got older, I got into more like Onee style, mainly because that was part of like the uniform for one of my jobs that I worked at. So naturally I fell into that style. And then as I got even older, I was more into like bohemian, which is a lot of long dresses, long skirts, things that were a little bit easier to move around in. And then past that, going into having kids, I needed styles that were a little more easy to work with. So things that had a little bit more casual clothing to them, which is where I came into like the full Onee and Mode style and Ora Ora styles. So it, I mean, part of it, yes, was to my kids for a sense of I needed clothing that I could run around and do errands in, things that were a lot more simpler to throw on, makeup that wasn't so outrageous, easier to put on. But the also part of me changing my style was just, you know, me getting older, me discovering more of the things that I liked and what I really wanted to focus on. And now I'm just kind of in this constant state of Onee, Mode, having experience in our car scene here. It's evolutionized my fashion to Ora Ora, and now I'm even doing the most casual, like people make fun of it, but it's called like Donkey Gyaru, and it's just a t-shirt and, you know, some Crocs and stuff like that, and it's really comfortable, easy for me to put on. There's not a lot of work that goes into it, and I actually do enjoy that a little more than, you know, going back to my mamba yamama styles. And it's also a lot more affordable. My makeup goes a long way, my clothing goes a longer way, and it's a lot easier to find in thrift stores and stuff like that. So making outfits and being able to get that in my closet is so much easier than how I experienced it when I first started out. How do you incorporate your kids into your gal lifestyle? And again, there's no real answer that I can give you except you just do it. You had kids, they're not accessories. Like, you can't just choose to have them one day and not have them the next. Like, the kids will be a part of your life whether you're gal or not. So whether you like it or not, they're gonna be involved in your lifestyle. I think for other things, like, you know, for me, if I were to go to an anime convention in Gyaru, or if through some miracle way that we would ever have a gal meet here in Hawaii, I think in that sense I would get like a babysitter and have them with somebody for those amount of hours or those days that I need, where I don't want the kids involved. And that's mainly because, one, it takes a lot to balance like communicating with other people and then having to worry about, you know, making sure your kids are good, and also exposing them to stuff that I don't want them to be exposed to. So with, you know, I'm going to go into real talk here, with COVID being a thing and people still kind of on edge with the whole like pandemic and being exposed to multiple people that you don't know, those are the reasons that I choose to keep my kids away from that. So they don't come with me to anime conventions in gal, they won't come with me to gal meets or anything like that. It's more mainly because I don't want them to be exposed to something that they don't need to be exposed to. Also, I'm very particular of who is around my children, so I don't want to just introduce them to just anybody and everybody. But as far as my gal lifestyle, like, my gal lifestyle is just my life. There's nothing that I do specifically that's gal or non-gal related. I'm getting up in the morning, taking them to do what they need to do, running my errands, coming home, being a mom, doing all this other stuff that just needs to be done. And I'm just dressed up in gal while doing it. So there really isn't an answer about how do I incorporate them. They're kind of always just there. Now when they get older, if they ever decide, like when they're teenagers, if I trust them enough and they can stay home on their own or whatnot, and they don't ever want to come out and do stuff with me and gal, I'm perfectly fine with that too. I'll count that as me time. I get a break, get a little bit of fresh air, get a little bit of me time, and everybody wins. They stay home, they get to do what they want. I go out, I get to do what I want. But until then, they're always going to be a part of my life and a part of everything that I always do. So there really is no answer of how I'm going to balance that. Okay, I actually kind of really like this next question. This question is, do your kids do pata pata? And yes and no. My youngest, my 2-year-old, he's interested in the music style for pata pata. So he's not really old enough to do like all the hand motions or like the coordination or anything like that. But every time there's music playing, he's always kind of like bobbing his head and he's like smiling and he's enjoying the music. So it's something that I think is really cute. My oldest is kind of interested in it. Like, he'll watch from afar when I have a video up on like YouTube or something and he sees me kind of practicing here and there, and he'll try to do it. Of course he gets lost like halfway through, but he's still trying. And even when he gets lost, he kind of just sits there and does like the little like shoulder shrugs a little bit and kind of just watches me do it. I'm slowly getting back into pata pata. I used to be really passionate about it. That kind of fell off a couple years ago, and now I'm kind of actually getting back into it. So I do it a lot. I don't do it every day though, but I do it for maybe like an hour at a time, an hour and a half each time. Sometimes if like my partner shows like a really good video, maybe I'm doing it for like 2 hours. I'm always doing it in the car, playing music. So it's always kind of a constant thing in our life right now. Can I say in the future if they're gonna get into it and want to practice it as hardcore as I do? I can't say that, but if they do, I'm gonna be open to it and I'm willing to teach them or do it with them and we can learn together and just make it like a really fun family activity. My partner is trying to learn it. It's really cute. I really do enjoy it. But as of right now, like, I'm kind of the only one that really knows how to do it. But yeah, it's something that's a fun family activity. I feel like maybe when they're older, they'll get into it a little bit more. And if they don't, that's okay too. The music's really good. It's a lot of like Eurobeat, which our whole family really likes Eurobeat music. So it's something that they'll naturally get into as far as just the music taste. Maybe they'll want to broaden their education and see the extent of it being in Pata Pata. But if they choose to do it, then I support it. If not, I support that as well. It's just something we do for fun. I don't require my kids or anybody in my family to know what Pata Pata is. If I end up being the only person that knows what it is and knows how to do it, that's perfectly fine with me. It's not an issue at all. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for asking me all those questions. I had so much fun answering them for you. Again, if you want to see more content like this, like, comment, subscribe to Shimmer Online's YouTube channel. And if you want to get in contact with me, just go to the Shimmer Online Instagram. All my info is in some of the posts that I've made. So I hope to meet some of you guys soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!